This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, young couples trying for a baby may need patience more than expensive fertility treatments. A historic motor launch is one step closer towards taking passengers on the Otago Harbour again. And two Southland authors have joined an attempt to break a Guinness World Record. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Young couples struggling to have a baby may need patience more than expensive fertility treatments, a latest study has found. The University of Otago study has followed 1,386 couples initially assessed by the Otago Fertility Service between 1998 and 2005.
Couples struggling to conceive may still be able to have a family without expensive treatments if they wait it out. But it depends on their age. That's the conclusion of a longitudinal study taken by the University of Otago. The study involves couples assessed by the Otago Fertility Service from 1998 to 2005 and follows birth outcomes to the end of 2014.
It's unique because no other study in the world has followed couples for so long. And this one, the median time for follow-up was about 13 years. So we were able to find out a lot more about people and their fertility aspirations.
I was 39 when I had my son. And then I was 42 when I had my daughter last year. The third round for our daughter was going to be our last round no matter what happened for financial and emotional reasons. So we were extremely lucky obviously to get her, but yeah, it's really hard. It's really private. It's very much a roller coaster.
The results were released today. The study found more than 60% of the couples were able to resolve their difficulties without expensive treatments or even after a failed round of IVF. 50% of first live births occurred without clinical intervention more than 2 years after the initial assessment. And the study found age is the most important factor in fertility, with best outcomes in women under 30. Women in their late 30s and very early 40s shared an equal chance for live birth without treatment unless they were severely obese.
What was slightly surprising was the number of women who had a second or third child after treatment on their own, and so that was a surprise to us.
The study shows 1 in every 4 couples take longer than 12 months to conceive. If couples are able to overcome their infertility and have a first child, it is likely they will go on to have more children. I'm Roselle LeBone for The South Today.
Stopping Violence Dunedin held its first annual street appeal in the city. Collectors were out from mid-morning in the central city and in South Dunedin. The organisation decided to hold its first ever street appeal, raising funds to help it deliver a range of programs. Stopping Violence began as a service for men working on anger and violence issues, but now offers whānau counselling as well as men's and women's group sessions. The historic motor launch, the Elsie Evans, is one step closer towards taking paying passengers on the Otago Harbour. Earlier this week saw the boat being assessed by a visiting surveyor. The South Today went out along for a look.
There's 3 more people coming now, we're allowed for that.
Normally, you don't deliberately try and make a boat tip over on one side, but that is what the weight of these people and bags achieved to the 116-year-old former pilot launch, the Elsie Evans. The vessel has been lovingly restored in recent years in the hope that it will become an active passenger boat in Otago Harbour. Blenheim surveyor Philip Carey was on hand to survey the vessel to assess how many passengers could be safely taken on board.
When the vessel rolls, her righting lever from the point of buoyancy to the point of gravity alter. And there's a formula that the boat has to be within. If it's too far, the boat's a very loose boat and it rolls a lot, like a beer bottle half full of water. If it's too short, it's a very stiff boat.
Otago Harbour Ferry Incorporated chairman Shem Sutherland was pleased with the results from the tilting test, as well as other surveying work done on the launch.
Well, the vessel, the LC Evans, is we want to run it as a commercial operation, and that requires it to be safe and have a safe ship management system, and all this is part of her certification as a vessel to carry people safely.
The LC Evans can now be certified to carry about 20 passengers, but this is far less than the vessel was originally certified to carry.
Originally she was licensed to carry 51 people, and then in the 40s and 50s she was down to 37 people. But because of Marine's safety standards have improved somewhat now, it's down to 20, 22 or so.
Several charities have helped with meeting the $5,600 price of this survey, and Sutherland says that after another survey of similar cost, this boat will be ready to carry paying passengers. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
An internal report from Dunedin Hospital reveals it took at least 10 days to change a light fitting in an operating theatre. This is due to the cost of dealing with asbestos, which has reached almost $5.5 million at the hospital. This figure includes almost $2 million for a retrofitted air conditioning system in the radiology department. The costs are a reflection of dealing with the problem of asbestos since a scare in 2015. Two Southland authors have joined an attempt to break a Guinness World Record. Storm Rees and Mouse Diver Dudfield have been chosen to have their work included in a short story anthology that will have a greater number of authors than any before. Sharon Rees has their tale.
Mouse Diver Dudfield and Storm Rees have reached world record-breaking territory from the comfort of their own homes. The Southland authors have each submitted a short story to South African author Sean M. Joost, who is behind the Guinness World Record attempt to include the greatest number of writers in a short story anthology. Storm Rees, who writes under the pseudonym Catherine Taylor, says the number of stories collected so far has already toppled the current record of 50 authors.
I love the fact that there's all these authors from all around the world getting together, collaborating to do this. It's only an attempt at this stage, but so far at the last look I had at the Facebook page, there's 67 writers that have contributed and been accepted.
Mouse, born Marilyn, who earned her nickname as a child due to her small size, says the record could bring some attention to writers in the South.
I'd like to think that maybe a little bit of publicity, especially with the Southland authors not having as much spotlight, and suddenly seeing that two Southland authors are breaking world records, and definitely I'd like it to sort of shed light on us. My children, when I told them that we were going for this record, they were like, "Do you mean we could see your name in the book at our school?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's right."
I'm in this for the passion of writing, but of course, yeah, it's always fun to get a little bit of attention, to bring a new high to my writing life, and yeah, it's really important to me.
According to the Guinness World Record rules, stories must be between 3,000 to 8,000 words and at least 1,000 copies must be printed. The volume's launch date is September 30, and if all the Guinness World Record guidelines are met, these authors' names will go down in history. I'm Sharon Rees for The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, 3 more properties have tested positive for Mycoplasma bovis, and musicians Matthew Rhodes and Chris Butchard are off to the Emerald Isles.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoura Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
We're a 25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
The University of Otago, an institute of world-class education and the social epicentre of the city, with outfits needed for more formal functions like the ball and for less formal functions like
the zoo? Are you sure?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, Dad, you'll definitely see me. I'm the one in the yellow and blue face paint and the onesie in the zoo.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books, with the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Just think, 80 years ago, this year, my grandfather set up Alex Campbell Menswear right on Cargill's Corner in South Dunedin. We've had some great years, bringing Otago and Southland the very best of menswear for both business and everyday needs.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
For 3 generations, the Kilpatrick family have ensured Jimmy's pies are still world famous in the South Island. Made to an old family recipe, Jimmy's pies have been one of New Zealand's traditional takeaway foods, prepared daily on the premises alongside a range of savouries, sausage rolls and cakes. Jimmy's pies are distributed throughout the lower South Island. Jimmy's pies are sure to satisfy your travelling munchies.
If you're staring at empty walls, stare no longer. The Dunedin Art Show has arrived. Visit Dunedin's largest ever art show and take part in Otago's art sales event of the year. View and buy original artworks from established and emergent New Zealand artists. Thousands of artworks priced from $50. Opening night gala Thursday the 21st of September, with show days from Friday the 22nd to Sunday the 24th from 10 a.m. at the Edgar Centre, Andersons Bay. Visit the DunedinArtShow.co.nz for tickets and more info.
Welcome back. 3 more properties have tested positive for Mycoplasma bovis, including 2 further Van Leeuwen Dairy Group farms and a lifestyle block near Rangiora. It brings the total number of infected farms to 6. Ministry for Primary Industries Response Coordinator David Yard says the 3 latest properties have links to infected properties, and it was an entirely expected pattern. He says they expect to find more infected properties as testing continues. And in an update to a recent story, musicians Matthew Rhodes and Chris Butchard are off to the Emerald Isles in less than 2 weeks.
The South Today reported back in June that Butchard and autistic blind tin whistler extraordinaire Rhodes are off to Ireland after raising nearly $4,000 from their Give a Little campaign.
People have been extremely generous, so I think we've just pretty recently cracked the $4,000, which was amazing. It's actually closing on the 7th of September, so if there's anyone out there that wants to shout this man another Guinness, then yeah, get in there.
The pair have a few must-dos on their hit list for the UK and Ireland, including the proms at Hyde Park and day trips to Galway and Belfast. Guinness Brewery in Dublin is also on the itinerary. Their first stop is London and Buckingham Palace. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Invercargill's historic Anderson House may acquire a cafe in the near future if the City Council decides it's a viable option. Venture Southland will be presenting a report to Council in the next 2 weeks, which gives an idea of the cost involved in converting the former art gallery into a multi-use facility. Sharon Rees has more.
When driving into Invercargill's Anderson Park, the white exterior of Anderson House is embellished by its surrounding greenery. But earthquake risks have rendered this heritage building out of use for over 2 years. A Venture Southland survey was conducted this month on the future of the former art gallery, and results show Southlanders would see a cafe in the building before anything else.
In that feedback from that survey, people definitely really strongly in favour of the idea of a cafe. So what we've been looking at is, well, what does that actually mean in practice? Because obviously you need a certain number of visits each year for a cafe to really be a financial option for a good commercial operator.
While the park itself is still open to the public and offers around 24 hectares of landscape gardens, a playground and duck ponds, Suter says locals feel strongly about keeping the Anderson House up and running.
We had over 1,000 responses, which just gives you an indication of how passionate people are about Anderson House and Park and how closely they feel in terms of the history of when they went there as a child and how they enjoy to go over at weekends, etc.
But she says the task of lifting the building standards to fit requirements could be costly.
What the council obviously as a responsible owner of the asset has to think about is all of the issues that come with a heritage building, like the fact that it was designed before fire regulations were put in place, that as soon as you do something like earthquake strengthening that's required for the building was the reason that the building was closed, then there are other things that you need to do to then bring the building up to consent.
Venture Southland are in the process of drawing financial forecasts for the business venture, which will be put before councillors and eventually be included in the city's long-term plan consultation process. I'm Sharon Rees for The South Today.
After the break on The South Today, tempers flared and questions were raised at a Dunedin City Council meeting yesterday, and we look at the case of the Dunedin Police Constable Jeremy Boyce, convicted of a criminal harassment.
The Gate Hospitality and Tourist Centre is a standout attraction of Cromwell and Central Otago for travellers and locals alike, featuring the Harvest Hotel, which is Central Otago's gateway accommodation, featuring standard and premium rooms, which open onto breathtaking mountain, vineyard and rural views. The Harvest Hotel also has a relaxing, sun-trapped courtyard and standalone conference and wedding centre. The Hunting Lodge-themed Five Stags Bar and Restaurant provides an honest, welcoming, family-friendly place to grab a great feed and a relaxing beverage. Forage Information Centre and Cafe is light and spacious and serves fabulous food and bedazzling beverages and offers information and booking services. In every season, for every reason, the Gate Hospitality and Tourist Centre has something for everyone.
Hi, I'm Dennis Charlotte and road racing motorcycles is my lifetime passion. It's a massive adrenaline rush, but the high-speed crashes have been tough on the body over the years. I almost felt as old as my mate Ian.
Sportsval, supporting tendons, ligaments and cartilage. And Energy Plus helps replace the energy that everyday living takes away.
Now I feel more alive and have more sustained energy to really enjoy my racing.
Buy 2 packs of Sportsval and get 2 packs of Energy Plus absolutely free. So call now, 0800 502 402.
Autumn is here. Too late to sow grass seed, but never fear. Ready Lawn is here. Ready Lawn, your perfect all-year-round solution. Call Ready Lawn today.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
For 3 generations, the Kilpatrick family have ensured Jimmy's pies are still world famous in the South Island. Made to an old family recipe, Jimmy's pies have been one of New Zealand's traditional takeaway foods, prepared daily on the premises alongside a range of savouries, sausage rolls and cakes. Jimmy's pies are distributed throughout the lower South Island. Jimmy's pies are sure to satisfy your travelling munchies.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Just think, 80 years ago, this year, my grandfather set up Alex Campbell Menswear right on Cargill's Corner in South Dunedin. We've had some great years bringing Otago and Southland the very best of menswear for both business and everyday needs.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Thanks for staying with us. Tempers flared and questions were raised at a Dunedin City Council meeting yesterday over urban cycleways funding and what Mayor Dave Cull called an abusive email from Councillor Lee Vandervis. Roselle LeBone reports.
Speaking via an intercom at a Dunedin City Council meeting yesterday, Councillor Lee Vandervis asked that a statement he called false that the balance of Dunedin City Council urban cycleways funding was reallocated by NZTA to the one-way pair cycle project was removed from the council minutes.
We received your email on this, Councillor Vandervis, and despite its abusive nature, I took it seriously and asked the Chief Executive to confirm or not the veracity of the minutes, because it's important that they are right. This is about whether the minutes are correct or not. That is all it's about.
Council Chief Executive Sue Bidrose says the bulk of the money has gone to the one-way pair, and Vandervis is right when he says NZTA was always going to fund the project. Mayor Dave Cull would not answer Vandervis's later question regarding what would happen to cycleway plans if it became obvious council could not meet NZTA funding deadlines.
Is there anyone else that I can ask that question of?
No, it's not appropriate in the context of this report. Can you move on to the next question, please?
Bidrose says it is worth noting while money stayed in Dunedin, most of it is allocated to the one-way pair. A small portion has gone to other cycleway projects to improve their standard. Roselle LeBone, The South Today.
Dunedin Police Constable Jeremy Boyes resigned 4 months after he was convicted of criminal harassment. He had been found guilty of stalking and threatening another Dunedin man over a number of years. The South Today looks at aspects of the case.
After Jeremy Boyes was found guilty of criminal harassment, his name was made public, but the court put a suppression order on what his job was. The University of Otago's Dean of Law, Mark Hannigan, expressed doubt that the court order would be effective.
But unfortunately, in the small community these days, people still find out. So in one sense, I can understand why people say you can go through name suppression, but everyone knew anyway, and that's part of the problem. So with modern communication, it's pretty hard not to know. Almost every case that's involved name suppression in New Zealand, I must admit, you find out fairly quickly who it is. So in one sense, the theory of it's a good idea, but the practice is almost impossible in the digital age.
And indeed, it was relatively easy to find Mr. Boyes on the internet and deduce that he had, at least until recently, been a police constable. The South Today then took to the streets and asked people if they knew Jeremy Boyes' occupation. The results were about 50-50.
I can't remember actually, but I do remember reading about him.
What job was he?
Police.
No idea.
No idea.
Haven't heard of it.
I
haven't a clue either who it is.
Yeah, I know that he's a policeman.
No.
Yeah, he's a cop.
Jeremy Boyes' defence lawyer argued publishing his occupation could tarnish the reputation of the police. But Southern District Commander Superintendent Paul Basham said police never actually sought suppression for Boyes. Superintendent Basham also wants to reassure the public that this kind of behaviour will never be condoned by himself nor the other good men and women who collectively make up the Southern Policing District. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
There were mixed fortunes for the women at the Winter Games slalom at Coronet Peak today. Just 2 finished and both were well down a field packed with international talent. Mina Amso was on location.
Canterbury skier Georgia Bushell showed the way for New Zealand skiers in the slalom at Coronet Peak today. However, she was still 19th in the field of 22 women who competed. For Queenstown's 15-year-old Alice Robinson, it wasn't a great day. She crashed out of the giant slalom yesterday and she didn't finish today.
Just I think building on my experience would be awesome. Just kind of being like racing with these girls is great, especially on the home advantage. It's just really great atmosphere to be in. I think definitely building on experience. Would have liked to have done better in the giant slaloms, but it didn't go to plan for me. So.
But for New Zealand coach Nils Koberger, women athletes performed against some top-class international skiers.
Yeah, great to see those guys here training in New Zealand, competing at the Winter Games. And it gives us a real level of competition, see where our guys are at and see where they're performing and see if they're up to par, especially moving into an Olympic year.
Best of New Zealand men was Adam Barwood, who finished 12th. New Zealand team chiropractor Robert Moore says the Winter Games are perfect training ground for the athletes like Barwood.
Obviously Adam got through and had a reasonably good run. Definitely got some improvements that he can make that we've talked about, or the coaches have talked about over the break, and so hopefully he can execute them well.
The Alpine skiers will be back at Coronet Peak for more slalom tomorrow. Mina Amso, The South Today.
And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Barry Stewart. What have you got for us today?
We've got a feast of material for you today. A storm which battered Otago last month, of course, has already cost us about $5 million, but that figure is about to balloon when the full insurance figures are released next week. And we have a remarkable story from Balclutha of a carrot. Actually a diamond ring. A diamond ring was found around a carrot by a lady who had lost that ring 10 years ago. So she was picking the carrots and discovered a little gem.
So it became a 2-carat diamond.
I was waiting for that, yeah. Good point, I'm glad I didn't say that. But,
I couldn't resist that.
We also have a story of a new design for a Richie McCaw statue in Currao. That new design has been released, so we'll have a look at that. Fashion Week, of course, continues in Auckland, and we have a reporter up there covering that. I think tonight it is Tanya Carlson and some Polytech students, so have a look for that.
It's great to see the Dunedin Polytech represented up
there. Oh, they're always doing well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, that continues. So, big changes, another good story, big changes to Dunedin's bus routes announced by the ORC, so have a look for that. And who is standing in the seats in the south for the general election? We have the full list of candidates in your electorate.
Fantastic. Something for the readers to have a look at tomorrow.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Silverhorn Collagen Plus.
Today's southern view is of Dunedin's first church under scaffolding. Looking at the situation, expect cloudy skies and cold temperatures along the eastern coast, but some sunny breaks inland. Sunshine will be more widespread for the weekend. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, Catlins, Gore and Lumsden share moderate southeasterlies, some cloud and 8 degrees. And coming to Dunedin, let's have a look. Down in Dunedin tonight it will be cloudy with a few drizzle patches and an overnight low of 7 degrees. Tomorrow it will be mostly sunny with a bit cold and a high of 9 and a low of 6. Similar weather on Friday, 8 and 5 degrees, and further south to Invercargill, where it will be mostly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 6. Tomorrow sees cloud breaking through with some sunny periods during the afternoon, but cloud returning from the evening. Cool temperatures, a high of 10 and a low of 5. And it's similar weather for you guys on Friday. It's often cloudy with some sunny periods during the afternoon with cool southeasterly winds, 9 and 5. And that's our news for this Wednesday. For the latest news from the South Today team, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. I hope you all have a great evening. Take care. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.